Hey traders, Mike Katz here with 7 Points Capital, bringing you today's trader takeaways. We had a small range day compared to what we've had in the past, and it was a very choppy sideways, take out the highs, take out the lows, over and over type of day, and that did make it a little bit difficult. So I want to go over what we see here. So I was looking at the Qs today instead of the SPYs only because the action was more along the tech side. And looking at this stuff, we can see that it was just complete chop. I ended up having a really nice day, but it was just really tiring and I didn't see the follow through I was looking for. So, it was a tough day from that perspective, but P&L wise, it was pretty good. But you can just see here, just how many times we get to the top of the range, look like we're going to break out. Same thing down here, and just no follow through, just complete chop, taking out significant pivots. And on the daily, it ends up looking like, a small body on big volume and stopping volume. So a lot of fuel went in, a lot of effort went in, but we didn't get the downside push. Now let's see if that just means that we're going to be going sideways and then lower, or does it mean that we basically gave it a real effort to get another down day and we just finished like a doji on heavy volume, kind of an anomaly. Will be interesting to see. So a lot of things are playing out here. One thing I was looking at all day long was Amazon. Right, there was talks about the White House going after Amazon, and it just turns out that then they said they're not going to, right? They don't have any plans, nothing in the works, absolutely nothing, reiterated a few times. But I would have figured that Amazon would have rallied off of that news, and it didn't. It just went sideways. So that was a little bit concerning for the longs, because on a piece of news like that was right around here, basically this thing just kept going sideways. And I would have wanted to have seen this thing rally, considering the White House said they're not going to give him a hard time. So tech stayed weak. There was a lot going on in Tesla, Nvidia, Netflix. Facebook was actually green on the day, and Apple was down much less, but tech seemed weak. So that's why I was looking at the Qs today. I was trading that. I was trading some TVIX. But most of my P&L came from a couple of names here. SHPG, so Shire PLC. That was the takeout news early, and it got a nice pop in the morning. Comes back pre-market, starts to find the bottom. 150 looks significant over here, and when it just didn't have any more legs, I started trading it here. So if we could look at this here, that's where I was looking at it. That's where I started getting in. Put on a feeler. I even thought maybe going long here, 152, but it just wasn't acting well. Every time it got a pop, it got rejected, came back to 152. So when it broke 152 to the downside, I decided to short on the pop to the figure versus here, versus above that pivot. And then when it started working, I was able to add. So let's see if we can zoom out, scroll to the right, and then you can see the drop right there. Started working pretty quickly and found the bottom at 148, kind of chopped around for a while. I did some adding here between 149 and 150, and then eventually moved my stop to 150. And that's right there, right? So 150, let's just look at it like this. Bam, 150 is right here. So it couldn't reclaim 150, which was nice for a good continuation to the downside. Was able to let this thing work. Let's see if we can find the execution chart on this. There we are. That's not it. We need SHPG. And bam. So we broke down 152 here. Didn't want to chase down. Let it bounce back. entered near here, and then covered half. I went up, broke below and stayed below 150, added here, covered, added back. I didn't get any adds higher than my covers, but I was able to realize that it's weak and then allow myself to add a little bit lower than where I covered and let the trend keep working. Covered some here, and then threw out a feeler here that short filled, and then covered the rest, pretty much everything down here. So that was a nice trade on Shire. There was the takeout rumor, and then they were saying that the valuation doesn't consider debt, and if it did, then it's been the valuation would be down here, not way above, so the stock basically couldn't hold the gains and gave back a lot of it. So that was Shire. What else? Traded some AGN. Allergan had the positive news regarding the patent, and was really a simple trade. Didn't want to overcomplicate it, and when I saw it, it was right here, 163. So this is yesterday's high, and when the news hit, when I actually saw it, when Riley next to me mentioned it, it was right here. So 163, I don't want to chase it here. I don't want to chase it. So I drew a line there thinking if it comes back, gives me an entry here, I might do it, but I don't like this yesterday's high being resistance. So when it cleared that, and it did that pretty quickly, and at this point I'm kind of upset that I didn't actually, chase, right? But what are you going to do? When it did that, it couldn't keep going. It went to 165, and there was a really nice entry on this pullback. Bam, right there at this level, 163.50, yesterday's highs, puts in a hammer down here, and that was a beautiful entry. Let's look at this one, AGN. AGN. No, that's not working. Well, very nice. Oh, that's freezing. So we probably won't be able to see the fills on that, but there was a nice entry over here, and we got a nice bounce off of that very quickly. I didn't sell any here because I only had an entry, a starter here versus down here, so the position wasn't very big. I don't want to put my stop right below this level because it could peak below and do a little over under and then turn right back up. So it never gave me a retest with a higher low, so I couldn't really size in here, but I had a nice position where I could get things going very quickly, 2-3 points in the money, and then it holds, makes that higher low, goes up there, pulls back, gives me a spot to add some more right here, right there. Nice higher low here versus this high, and at that point I'm trading versus below here. I think it pulls back in a little bit more than where I added, but it holds, doesn't fall apart, goes back up. At this point I just have two buys, one buy here and one buy here. No sells yet, goes higher, and I'm targeting 170 on a daily. All right, let's look here. Y AGN 170 was, so right here is when we start looking at it. 170 was this high. That was my target for the day, and when we started going higher, had another spot to add here. I don't think I added here. By this point I already had my full position. I think I had another add over here. Had I not added a couple of times in this consolidation here with these higher lows, I would have definitely added here. Goes above, comes back at previous highs, now support, nice add spot, and then keeps going higher. Bam, pulls back, keeps going higher, and at this point I start thinking, all right, a little extended, and near 168, I start scaling out of some, take off a third there, take off another third when it looks like it's curling down, and then I take off the rest there. So now a question becomes, why not allow this thing to pull back and see if it wants to make a higher low? And that's a good question I got. So this is the immediate trend at that time. If I'm going for the massive swing trade, then I have to be able to stomach this type of move back for potentially a bigger bounce to the upside. And when I didn't get that, I was able to, and if I didn't get that, then I wouldn't be able to, let me rephrase that. If I cannot stomach this type of a pullback here to retest these highs, then I'm probably going to put my exit at the wrong spot. Right? So let's look at it. If I can't, in a trend like this that's moving up, like let's draw these moves, bam. Yeah, let's get rid of some of these drawings. Clear drawing set. Let's start all over. So I get this type of a move up and a pullback. Higher high and a pullback. Higher high. At this point, I don't know when this move ends, right? All I know is that this is going to be support over here, and this is the higher low. So I don't know that this is going to come back and whoosh all the way back down here. I don't, but I did know that I wasn't willing to allow this trade to come back all the way to support here, right? To see if it wants to hold it. So I got tight with my stop, and when I realized it was a little bit extended too fast, too much too fast, I started scaling out near 168 and then tighten up my stop here and here, and that's where I was done with the stock. So there are times where I'm really going for the home run trade, and I will allow it to pull back till here and then see if it wants to make one of those moves. And today, considering the action, I was not willing to do that, and I think I had a pretty good exit right around average 167.50, and that was a really nice trade. So that was one of the better stocks today. So Shire, AGN, those were my main plays today, and the other ones like what was I trading? QQQ, complete chop sideways, TVIX. I was pretty active in this one, but I think I ended up flat, where I was up pretty nicely here, thinking that the market was going to collapse, and finally this thing started heading higher, but just kept on coming back. So just a huge chop fest all day. And what else? Facebook got in touch today, pretty much a snoozer there. And I was just watching Amazon. I didn't trade it today. Decent range, you know, down 100 points and then only down 65. Maybe it'll be on my list for tomorrow, but it just, again, also got very tight, not a whole lot of follow through. So the main winners today were Shire, SHPG, and AGN. And AGN didn't last all day. It was just, I think, a couple hours I was in it and done. So good way to get a green day after yesterday having a little bit of a tougher day, and you know, getting close to the end of the month. Friday we will be off for the holiday, and hopefully everybody enjoys a long weekend, and hopefully everybody had a great month, and looking forward to the spring, looking forward to April and some more market action. We'll see which way things go. Volatility is still here, and we'll see if you know, we keep heading lower, or you know, it sounds funny, right? Do we could go lower or we could go higher? I'm not making any predictions, just trying to react, and on a daily basis just try to chop some green, and you know, it adds up by the end of the month. So thank you guys for watching 7 Points Capital. This is Mike Katz with today's Trader Takeaways.